74%. That's the percentage of homeowners in a survey of over 1,000 people that said they regret their home renovation. And that's weird because 92% of those same homeowners said that their renovation positively impacted their life. So they like the result, but they regret doing it. How does that happen, and why is no one talking about this? That's what I want to get into today, because I think the answer has everything to do with one thing, and it's not what you think. So quick context on who I am and why I even care about this. I'm not a contractor, and I want to be upfront about that. I'm actually a software engineer who built a platform called BidWolf. It's a marketplace where homeowners post a renovation project and contractors get to bid on those. The whole idea was to make that process more transparent. And when I was building it, I had to really understand this industry deeply. I spent months going through house surveys, contractor data, and industry reports, and Harvard studies just to understand where the real friction was, where homeowners are getting burned. And what I found honestly kind of shocked me, because the problem isn't the contractors, and it's also not the homeowners. It's something else entirely, and I think HGTV is a perfect place to start explaining it. So HGTV has been around since 1994. So for 30 plus years, they've been showing homeowners what American home renovation looks like. And the formula is always the same, right? A couple buys a house and it's a mess. And then the contractor comes in and 30 days later, boom, they have a magazine covered kitchen, spa bathroom, and an open concept living room. Everyone's happy. The whole thing costs, I don't know, $40,000 or whatever they put up on the screen. And people watch that and think, okay, that's how much it costs. That's how long it takes. That's what I should expect as well. The problem is HGTV doesn't show you the change orders. They also don't show you the 2 weeks where nothing happens because the subcontractor doesn't show up. They don't show you the moment the homeowner realizes the budget is gone and the bathroom is only half finished. They show you the before and the after. Everything in between, yada yada yada, here's your dream home. And so for 30 years, American homeowners have been walking into home renovations with a completely distorted picture of what it actually costs and how it actually goes. And then we wonder why 74% of them regret it. Okay, so let me show you what the data actually looks like, because this isn't just one study. This is a pattern across multiple reports. First stat, nearly 80% of homeowners went over budget on their last renovation. Not 20, not 30%, 80%. That's from a Clever Real Estate survey published in late 2024. And when they went over budget, 44% of those spent over $5,000 more than they actually planned to, and 35% of those spent $10,000 more. Think about that. 1 in 3 people set a budget, hired contractors, and end up spending $10,000 more than they thought they would. So what do people do when that happens? Obviously, they have to borrow money. 2/3 of homeowners went into debt just to finish their renovation. And of those, 36% said they struggled to pay credit card bills afterwards. So you've got a situation where people are going over budget, they're borrowing money, they're struggling to pay their bills, and then they regret it afterwards. That's not a coincidence, that's a pattern. Here's the part that really got to me though. 32% of homeowners stopped their home renovation because they ran out of money. So not only did they go over budget, they couldn't even complete the project. So they're right now living in a half renovated house. Here's the kicker, nearly half of all home renovators said they liked their home more before they even started. Let that one sink in for a second. You spent the money, you dealt with the contractors, you lived in a construction zone, and at the end of it, you liked what you had before more. That's a brutal outcome. So why does this keep happening? Why did 80% of people keep going over budget? Maybe it's contractors being dishonest, or it's homeowners not planning, or it's a little bit of both. But honestly, I think the root of the problem is much simpler than that. It's the information gap. Homeowners renovate once every 10 to 15 years, maybe. Contractors do this every single week. So when you plan to start your budget, you're working off what? Maybe a Google search, an HGTV episode you saw 3 years ago, or a number your buddy threw out at a barbecue. Meanwhile, the contractor knows exactly what the materials cost right now. He knows what the labor costs in your zip code. That information asymmetry, the gap between what you know and what they know, that's where budget overruns come from. It's not usually malice, it's just you don't know what you don't know. And by the time you find out, it's already too late. And HGTV made it worse because it gave a lot of homeowners false confidence. It made renovation feel simple, fast, and predictable, when the data shows it's almost never any of those things. Okay, so what do you actually do with this? 3 things, and they're simple, I know. Number 1, if your renovation budget is 30 grand, make it 40. Not because contractors are trying to rip you off, but because 80% of the time, it goes over every time. That's just the reality, plan for it. Number 2, scope before you budget. Most people do it backwards. They pick a number, say I want to spend 20 grand to renovate my kitchen, and then they try to fit the project within that number. And that's how you end up with a half-finished kitchen. Do it the other way. Figure out exactly what you want first, and then get bids on that specific scope. Don't change the scope mid-project. That's where change orders come from, and that's where the budget blows up. Number 3, ask contractors this one specific question. Ask them how many projects they're doing right now. A contractor who's juggling 12 projects and bids low is going to deprioritize you the moment something urgent comes up. A contractor with 2 active jobs and bids the same amount is going to show up every single day. Capacity matters just as much as price, and most homeowners never ask about that. Look, I built BidWolf because I thought the problem in this industry was all about connection, getting the right contractor in front of the right homeowner. And that's part of it, but the deeper problem, the one that the data keeps pointing to, is that homeowners go into these projects without a realistic picture of what they actually are getting into. And a lot of that is because the thing that they've been watching for 30 years has made it look easy. It's not easy, but it is manageable if you go into it with your eyes wide open. That's what I'm trying to help with on this channel. If you liked it, subscribe.